she's doing.
Ah, my big dictionary!
What are you talking about, Miss? This is mine.
Okay.
Yeah, yours is over there, miss.
Oh, okay.
The strong
Anhedonia. Oh, piece of paper. Anhedonia. The absence of pleasures or ability to experience it.
Where did you get that?
Well, this is magical. Do you see what I was telling you about the magical state of
I
adolescence?
told you the dictionary is the best thing to bring around with.
That's so stupid carrying a dictionary that big.
It's beautiful. It's gold. Okay, let's continue.
What are we gonna do?
Well, there's a lot of things that can cause depression. So we were talking about sadness, moving into just feeling depressed, down, really, really down, becomes really constant, and then suddenly becomes anhedonia. The absence of pleasure.
Or the inability to experience it, as Maria so graciously read.
High five.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm not giving you a high five for carrying a 30-pound Webster's dictionary along with you.
Let's just continue this, and after that.
Well, there's a lot of things that cause depression.
A lot.
Okay, yeah, lots. Some of them are.
Well, actually, one of the things could be, let's say you feel trapped, or maybe your marks aren't that good. In adolescence, there's hundreds of things.
Absolutely. So there's maybe social events, family events,
like maybe there's a death in the
relationships,
family,
life events, genetics, medical. There could be a medical condition.
However, that is depression, but how about clinical depression?
Oh, I think I know. I think I can put what Mrs. Stanger said into a... You know in the movies when you see the guy says something really, really complicated, but then the guy right beside him somehow manages to sum it up in a tiny little, like, one-word sentence? I think I figured it out. Okay, what Mrs. Stanger is basically saying is that depression is when you can snap out of it. Like, it lasts for about a week, and then, okay, you're happy
Feeling
again.
depressed, yeah.
Yeah. Clinical depression is when you sort of feel like a hostage to your depression.
Oh,
like you can't do anything. You feel it's an effort to do something, like to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't experience pleasure.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
is there like any way for you to not have clinical depression at all? Is it possible for you to become depressed and go into clinical depression?
Well, yeah, actually. Because one can lead to the other. If the depression that you have it doesn't subside, then you keep on getting more and more and more and more depressed because you're depressed. So then that sort of creates like an infinity thing so that you can't even get out of it.
So, okay, first of all, is there any symptoms? Like, do you know any symptoms if you know that you are becoming depressed or not? Like,
Okay, well, some of the symptoms.
Well, you said you've been there, done that. What were you feeling when you were feeling depressed?
well, if it's talking about love and all, heartbreaks, and like how you isolate yourself from like everyone around you. You try to like tell someone about it, but none of them care at all, and you feel like
No one's listening.
yeah, there's no one listening or no one
No one
caring.
cares.
So it's really depressing until you're scared to become more depressed, so you try to move on, which is a good thing.
So what would you do to try to move on? Like, how would you make that shift?
So if it was like a heartbreak and all, just don't think about it anymore. Like, don't think about it. And like, try to like ask an adult because they experienced it more than you.
That's true. Especially... I'm joking, man. I'm joking, man.
How about you, Daniel? Have you ever experienced depression before?
Depression? Well, actually, this one time, my marks were really, really low. And my parents, I love them, but sometimes, I think this happens with all parents, is basically they just go a bit too far.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
They sort of stop, like there's a point where you can stop where, okay, I get it, but then they just continue on going. And it stops being helpful, and then it starts bringing you down.
Well, for Asian people, it's worse, Daniel.
Yeah, true. Your parents break out the Shania. Anyhow.
Well, no, that's a good point. I'm a parent, and I think one of the things we could say to parents is that what they need to do is learn about adolescence. Don't you think that parents just don't understand adolescence?
Because they want us to experience their time when they were adolescents as well.
Right. So there's a little bit of a gap there. So if we could bring them on board and say, listen, you know, I'd really like you to learn about what I'm going through, and maybe they could learn, take some workshops, do some reading, you know, there's lots of good movies out,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe learn about adolescence. And then I think the second most important thing that I think is listen.
Yes.
Always listen and
Because
always
some-
care.
especially
Parents to listen.
Yeah, because one thing that I gotta admit, when I was actually feeling down, that's the one thing I would probably have never done, just tell my parents, for more than one reason. Number one, because it's a matter of, if you tell your parents, there's always that slight chance where you think they'll be mad with you or they won't understand,
Yeah.
rather than be sympathetic and actually help you. Which we all know isn't true. I mean, I'm probably sure that everybody's parents out there, deep, deep, deep down inside, wants the best for their child.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
They don't want,
absolutely.
they don't want
But they
their
might
child-
come across as a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that they don't want their child to become depressed at all. They want
Right.
their child to have like a happy life.
Yeah, yeah.
However, it would be better if the parent actually really cared and actually really listened to you thoroughly and tried to help you as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. Adolescence is an incredible place where everything is changing.
I know.
The cognitive, the physical, the emotional, the hormonal,
Is that is
everything's changing. So it's an important time. I mean, all parents said, well, I went through it. Yes, we all go through it, but we all go through it
Differently.
differently. And if our parents could just understand what the challenges are
Mm-hmm.
that are facing our students, our youth, these days, and then just maybe just do a little refresher course. You know, we all need refreshers, I do. And just learn about what you're going through, what you're dealing with, and listen. And listen, because you know what? Our parents are wise. They're wonderfully wise and loving. But sometimes they smother us with it.
yeah.
And we just need them to step back, learn about what we're going through, do
Yeah.
some listening, and then help us with their wisdom
And
and help
also-
us move along.
And also, if you do have parents who actually really listen to you, don't be scared. Don't be scared to tell your parents. Like, literally, your parents are the only person in your life that will actually listen to you. They are, like, your first priority other than your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't be scared to tell your mom or your dad, anyone that you feel comfortable talking about. And so, like, your problems and your depression will be, like, gone forever. Like, you will, like, finally experience it, and you will not want that to happen again.
Well, can I
Go ahead.
can I jump in? Or do you
Sure,
want to go? Okay.
Go ahead.
But sadly, you know, Maria, there's some children out there, some youth that are not connected to their parents.
Yeah.
Or don't feel that they can talk to their parents, or maybe being abused by their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to encourage them to do is reach out. Reach out to someone close to you. If you don't feel someone's close to you, call a crisis line, walk into a hospital. Something will happen. Something will change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Always
I know
for the
it
better.
feels like there's nothing going to change. Nothing's going to happen, but something will change. And you were saying at the beginning when we were talking about suicide that, you know, how did we get to suicide? And we talked about some of the situations that could lead to suicide. Depression can lead to suicide.
Yeah.
So if we're not getting help, if we're, you know, wavering on this depression and moving into a place where we're not feeling any pleasure or an inability to experience anything fun or loving, then we're going to start thinking in a very skewed way.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to be thinking straight.
Yeah.
So our choices and our decisions are going to be based on a very confuddled place of mind, state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually where friends can come in and help.
Yeah.
Because if you see someone who's stuck, or is not feeling well, or you think might be depressed or lonely or confused, I encourage you, I really encourage you out there, step up to the plate. Go up to that person. You might not know them, but just say, you know what, I noticed, you know, you the last couple of weeks and you're sitting by yourself, you're not talking to anybody. I'm a little worried about you. I don't even know you and I'm worried about you.